everybody's got.
Yeah, therefore it doesn't take me there. It doesn't allow me to put that link on YouTube where people waiting. It doesn't allow me to put the link there. It used to do that, but right now we are in a different page. Therefore, I need to share this one with people. Hold on. We are right now in the right place.
Do you want to share it through WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is not the place to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, here. Let me write this one. The Zoom did not let me live stream on this link. So please move here to follow the Quranic study. I need to learn how can I solve that problem. Okay, I am directing people to here, to another place. I need to finish up this one. Okay, let me finish this one. Okay, delete this one. Okay, people are there now. People discovered. Assalamu alaikum, people. Today is 27th of January 2023. As we promised that inshallah every week at 21, correct? 21 GMT time, London time, we'll be meeting here for Quranic study, Quran and Reformist translation. We'll continue, inshallah, where we left. We left at the second chapter, and today, Linda.
No, Leslie. Leslie.
Leslie.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Who is Leslie?
I don't know. Who was the other guy?
Oh, Leslie Terabesi. He might fall asleep. No problem. And then Tanvir Bot can do that. And let's see.
Okay.
Nice to see you, Rilum.
Nice to see you too, Edip. My dear friend.
God bless you. Okay, I'm going on the site. Let me see Rainbow Books. And then I'm going to put on the screen, inshallah. Okay, let me see how it is visible at the...
Yeah, we can see it clearly.
Okay, now let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 1, and from there on we can continue. I don't have here somehow the footnotes, and the footnotes are a good part. At the at Quranics.org we can have footnotes. And okay, please feel free to continue, brother Tanvir, if you want to read and stop anywhere you want, and open for questions and discussions, please.
Okay. Now, there's nothing to read. Well, there is. It just says...
There is. ALM, okay. 3 letters.
Alif Lam
Mim.
Alif Lam Mim. There you go. So, can you scroll to the next bit so I can read it, please?
Okay.
It doesn't want to scroll. Oh.
I don't have any control over the scrolling.
No, okay. I know.
Okay. So, Alif Lam Mim. This is the book in which there is no doubt. A guide for the conscientious.
Okay. But why you skip this one? This is a one verse. A three-letter, one verse. You just think it is too simple. Let's skip over. Let's not embarrass ourselves. Correct?
No, I did say it, Alif Lam Mim, and I'm happy to say it again.
Yeah.
Alif
Okay.
Lam Mim.
Yeah.
Alif Lam Mim is what?
I don't know. Al Muqatta'at.
The initials.
Muqatta is just a name given to it.
Yeah. That's all I know about it.
And okay. And what does that mean?
No idea.
Okay.
Code 19.
Okay. Alif Lam Mim are 3 letters and 3 numbers, correct? Tanweer.
Yeah, I can see. Sorry, I can see A, Alif 1, Lam 3, Lam 30, Mim 40. So I apologize for not reading it properly.
Yeah, these are basically 3 letters. Each letter stands for one particular number from 1 to 10. Arabic letters, 28 of them. They were standing for numbers during time of revelation of the Quran. And if you check Ifra's book, the Universal History of Numbers, in that one there are 2 chapters, chapter 19 and 20, on cultures, languages that use letters, alphabet letters for numbers, like Roman numbers, correct? You remember Roman numbers?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
1, V is 5, L is 50, C is 100. And exactly like that, the Arabs also were using something like that for 28 letters. They had the different numbers signed. And the sequence of the alphabet was Abjad, A, B, C, D, Abjad, Awaz, Hutti, Ya is 10, from Alif is 1, Bay is 2, Jim is 3, Dal is 4, Ha is 5, and goes all the way to 10. And then after Ya, Kelemen, K is 20, L is 30, M is 40, Nun is 50, Kelemen, Sa'a, Fasqa, Qa is 100 until 100. And then after 100, it becomes 200, 300. Raqa, Ra, Shet. Ra is 200. She is what? Is, do you know what is She? Is 300.
I have to look. Wait.
Parashat, Te is 400. It continues until 1000 with Ra. The last letter Ra, Dazr, Dot, Za, Ra. Dot is been 100, Za 900, Ra is
1,000.
1000.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Sheen
this
is
was
300.
used by
Yeah.
Arabs during revelation of the Quran. Archaeological evidence support this, both in writing and also in astrolabe. Astrolabe was a device invented by Arabs in about 8th century. In those astrolabes, it is showing the motion of the, who is talking there? Anyway, the motion of the, someone please close your YouTube.
No,
It's
I
creating
think
an
it's
echo.
your echo. Yeah, we should mute it. I think.
Is it mine?
No, I think we should mute.
Okay. Maybe it is mine. Maybe mine is creating this echo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that. Now this is again the usage of letters for numbers was common during time of Quran, and about 200 later, Arab got the so-called Arabic numbers from who they got from Indians. And again, someone is making, I think, noise. Let me see who is doing that. Someone's is making echo. I will mute this
Maybe
person.
Tenvir, maybe.
I don't know. Okay. Now thank you, Linda. I mute. Now it is fine. It is fine. Okay. Okay, we are there right now, and Alif Lam Mim, again, these are letters and numbers. And later, of course, when Arabs found the Indian numerals were more useful, more functional, easy to use, they abandoned their abjad system, gematria system, and then it remained in the public culture mind. Therefore, it continued. In fact, when I was a child, when I first started learning how to read the Quran, and that time, this was the one I memorized when I was a child. Still, they do abjad, hawas, hukli, kalaman, safas, parashat, thakhiz, dazakh, the order. Of course, later they made up stories about the meaning of these names. This was this. It is absolutely lies they made up. And people who are like magicians, not magicians, people who supposedly do exorcism they got from Christians, they use this one, they start exploiting it. They start attributing certain magical powers to these things. They distort it. And now there are many, many so-called Muslim scholars. They are so ignorant of the history of science, so much ignorant of archaeology. They just look at this, the abuse, afterwards abused by others. They think the origin is that. No, everything can be abused. The language is abused, therefore you don't ignore the language. You don't become enemy, hostile to language because it is abused by many people to promote falsehood. And therefore you should not have allergy against numbers too. So far we know people, three meanings of these letters, combination letters. How many of them are used in the beginning of chapters? Do you know? Leslie, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Is it 29?
And in the beginning of 29 chapters, out of 114 chapters, 29 chapters starts with these combinations of letters. And only 19 of them are independent verses. 19 of these combinations are independent verses. How many letters of the alphabet are using these letters? 14. 14. Half of the alphabet is used. Half of the alphabet, 14 letters used in 14 different combinations in the beginning of 29 chapters. And 19 of them are in the beginning of chapter, are independent verses. And this has been one of the most curious secret of the Quran. And every person who read the Quran, they got curious about this. And they try to understand it. And they came up with some ideas, speculations, but all arbitrary. None of them proven, none of them convincing. They came up, some of them said, well, these are each, I don't know who's making this. I think Linda is connected to audio. You have another connection for you, Linda. You have multiple personality right now here.
Edip,
One
I think
is
it's Tanvir.
Video, and also there is an audio connected. I don't know. Are you connected both from the phone, through the phone, and hold on?
No, now the echo is gone, you know.
Huh?
I think it's Tanvir, so now the echo is gone.
Maybe Tanvir, you were the one.
Yeah.
I love it. No problem, no problem. Okay, we learn. We are going to learn this one, enable waiting room. I don't know why I cannot disable when, even the waiting room. Okay. And everyone wondered about this, and they came up with one is, these are initials of God's attributes, one of the most convincing one. They say A stands for Allah, Lam stands for Alim, Mim stands for whatever. You know, there are many. In fact, Alim doesn't start with Ain. Basically, they say, well, Alim has letter L in it, therefore this is Alim. Or Latif, maybe start with Lam. And another name attribute of God start with Mim. There are multiple of them. They just pick and choose arbitrarily. Well, these are the abbreviation of attributes of God. Which attribute? We have many attributes of God start with Alif. Which one is which? Why? And why this is repeated in different, why Alif Lam Mim is mentioned so many times? Why in this chapter is Ha Mim 7 times, and over there is another combination, Ain Sin Qaf. There is no explanation, not kind of interesting, any information. They're so important in the beginning of 29 chapters. Curious, is this all about abbreviation, the attributes, the names of God arbitrarily assigned to it? Another says, well, these are the names of angels and made up. And another one came, in fact, recently, one of the scholars in Turkey who is famous, and he says, well, I was in Azhar, Al-Azhar University. There was a professor, very smart, educated. He taught me the meaning of these letters, combination letters. And I'm curious, really. I watched his video, and he's been shared by people, by thousands of people, and as if he discovered some knowledge from a professor from Al-Azhar University. Guess what? He says, he told me these are just sounds to make noise, to pull attention. There is no meaning in it. Wow. In order to say there is no meaning, I don't get anything from it, it's only nonsense sounds. You don't need an Azhar University professor for that. You say, I'm an idiot, I don't get anything, I don't understand anything, it means nothing. But the way he was kind of introduced this nonsense, he was Azhar University, I expected something, some new discovery, information in it. No, lack of information, it was something great information. It's unbelievable. And another professor who is well known in Turkey talks about this one, Alif Lam Mim, or Ha Mim, Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad. He comes up with all sorts of speculation, nonsense. Each of them, some of them make sense, but it's not provable, it's not verifiable, it's not falsifiable, not much information in it. And then he lists many of them. At the end, he doesn't mention this mathematical discovery of the Quran, which explains the meaning of it. Anyway, these 3 letters so far we know, or the other letter combination, have 3 meanings so far we discovered. 3 functions or 3 meanings. One is 14 of them, their numerical value add up to 1709. It gives the age of the Muslim Ummah, Muhammad's, basically the lifespan of people who will follow the Quran, 1709. And therefore 1710, it will be the end of the world. That is the implication from verses of the Quran we get. And this one was discovered in 1980 by Dr. Rashad Khalifa. And unknown about his work, I didn't know his work, not unknown. I didn't have knowledge about his work, but in 1986, this was, I have this magazine, Al-Ilm wal-Iman. This is Al-Ilm Well, Iman, this magazine from Tunisia. This was 1982, I think, or 1980. Okay. This is the article, الإعجاز العلمي في القرآن. إعجاز القرآن. They published this one, Dr. Rashad Khalifa's work. This was 1982. I received this one in 1986. And in the end of this article, this is about 19, in the end says, next issue will share with you Dr. Rashad Khalifa's work about the end of the world. Of course, that time I didn't have it. I was in Turkey at that time in 1986. I didn't have Rashad Khalifa's pamphlet about the end of the world. I became curious that time. I said, let me check whether the Quran has any information about the end of the world. And then I studied it. And then I came up with وَلَقَدْ أَتَيْنَاكَ سَبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي وَالْقُرْآنَ الْعَظِيمِ. We gave to you the repeated seven pairs and this great Quran. And it is the context of the length of the Ummah, about Muhammad's people. And in the context you can see. And then, therefore, based on that, I said, well, there are 14 different combinations, and each of them are numbers. Let me add them up. And there are a few other verses led me to this calculation. I came up with 1709. I said then 1710 because the end of the world will come after the Muslim Ummah is destroyed. The Muslim population, peacemakers are destroyed. It will be happen baghtatan, suddenly the end of the world will happen all on disbelievers, on the aggressors, very evil people. The Quran called them Gog and Magog. And therefore, I wrote to Dr. Rashad Khalifa at that time. I said, here it is. I came up with this time. And of course, the common understanding, orthodox understanding, the end of the world will not be known by anyone. But the Quran doesn't say that. The Quran says the source of the knowledge is only God. Means you cannot derive the end of the world yourself without God's help, without knowledge from God. The Quran contains many information about the ghaib, the unknown, the time that we don't know, but hereafter, before, and future. Therefore, if God gives us, then we can know only through God. But God never says he will not give us the information about the end of the world.
Edip,
just the opposite. I don't want to go the details about this. It is too long. And then I wrote to Dr. Khalifa. I said, then I got this one, 1710 is Hijri and 2280 Miladi. And both dates are multiple of 570. Very interesting pattern there. It cannot be coincidence. I have written articles on this subject. And then he sent me a letter. He says, congratulations, you got exactly what I got. And he sent me the pamphlet, his pamphlet. He had already discovered it in 1980, the same date. And but he has also some interesting other verses that I had not noticed, like the verse in chapter Kaf, chapter 18, about the people of the numbers, Ashabul Raqim, and people of the cave. And they remain there 300 years and plus 9 years, correct? And therefore, the time that he discovered it was 1980. It would be exactly 300 years until 2280, and also 9 years more, 309 years in terms of lunar years. It will be 1710. Perfect matching. And there are many other interesting verses. Too long. It is a different topic. I want to cut. Anyway, this is, yes.
Can I add something to
yeah.
You talked about that the Orthodox Islam said that no one knows the end of the future, end of the world, and the verse which supports your claim that we can know the end of the world, the time is 72:26 and 72:27. The knower of the unseen, he does not reveal his knowledge to anyone except to whom he has accepted as a messenger. Then he leads away in its present and future as a secret observer. And what I wanted to add is, if you say that 1710 is the lunar year when the world will end, and I've put 1710 to an Islamic calendar, and it tells me that the 28th of August of 2280, could that be the last date, maybe, if you count?
Yeah, that says there are a lot of discussion on the subject, very interesting patterns and indications. But later at a time, maybe just we discuss this issue together, separate than this one. Okay. But this information, later we find that this information was known during time of Prophet Muhammad. But this information, and there is one hadith, perhaps the only correct hadith, and they are hiding it in their own book. That hadith says a Jewish person came to Prophet Muhammad. He said, Alif Lam Mim. It is 71. Your ummah, your people will follow the Quran only 71 years. Why we should join to a group that will last so short lifespan? And then according to the hadith, Muhammad says, well, there is also Alif Lam Mim Ra. Well, Ra, when you add Ra, it becomes 271. And there is also that one. He says 271. Muhammad says there is also Alif Lam Mim Sad. There is Ha Mim, and the other right starts counting them. And this guy separately mentions them, their numbers. Yeah. And then he says, I'm confused which one to follow. But of course, it is all of them together. 7 times 2, 14 of them. There are 14 different combinations. And each time Muhammad was giving him, according to hadith, a different combination. That Jewish person did not get it. But this is goodness sake. They say the Quran, Muhammad understood and stuff. We don't understand. There is a verse, not one verse, 29 verses of the Quran. You don't get it. And there is one single hadith, the only correct hadith perhaps you have, and that is in your hadith book. And I think it is Ibn Majah. It's one of the hadith books. And you ignore that hadith. And they start kind of ignoring it, make up things. Well, Prophet Muhammad made mockery of him, wanted to kind of confuse him. No. If it is about the Quran, this guy is asking seriously why Muhammad will make up a lie to confuse him. Absolutely is another big lie you are making up. And therefore, it appears that this knowledge about Alif Lam Mim, Ha Mim, Ta Sin Mim, and Nun, Qaf, these combination letters and numbers, at least one meaning was known that time. Makes sense. That means it was not entirely meaningless. But later in 1973, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, in 1969, when he put the Quran first time in the computer, in 1969, when humans landed on the moon, that time he started feeding the Quran to the computer to find out the meaning of these letters, because when he wanted to translate the Quran, he made a vow to himself. He said, I will not move to another verse if I don't understand. Yeah. Well, he finished Fatiha, he got stuck in Alif Lam Mim. That is 2 letters. Yeah. It took him years to understand the meaning. He fed it to the Quran, got the counting those letters. I have that book. It is a historical book, the mysterious letters of the Quran and about miracle of the Quran. I have it book. It is a beautiful publication. Yeah. And it was, introduction is 1973, I think November 1973. In that book, all he gives he finds out there is statistical correlation, not in beyond correlation, very strong relationship between frequency of the letters in that chapter where with the initials. For example, the frequency of Qaf is the highest in 2 chapters that start with Qaf. Frequency of the letter, each letter has certain frequency in the Quran, like in a text. The whole text, the number of letters, total letters, 300,000 plus, and frequency of Qaf is how much the whole book. You get that frequency, about 3%. I don't remember, but it's a small percentage. And of course, the most frequent letter is Alif, perhaps about maybe about 9-10%, maybe more. Now, I'm just, these numbers, the percentage, I don't remember right now. I have it, the book, I can easily look at it, and the numbers is there. Now, since I got here, I have in this book the whole letters, frequency of the letters of the Quran here. I apologize for that. I should have prepared long time ago. I could put it here on the where am I? I couldn't find it. Even my book, I'm not right now able to find that table. Anyway, what is it? And then he found out they are the most frequent in those chapters where they start. The frequency of letter Sad is those more frequent in 3 chapters they start. He made some statistical calculations in that book, but he didn't have any knowledge, information about number 19. In 1973, when he published this book, he didn't know. But in 1974, he came up with the discovery of their relationship with the number 19. They are multiple of 19. Therefore, so far we know 3 meanings of these letters. One is the end of the world, 14 of them, 14 different combinations give the time of end of the world. And they are about the frequency, their frequency, the highest in the chapters they initialize. And the third one, they are multiple of 19. They are part of the mathematical miracle of the Quran based number 19. Leslie, welcome. Apology for so long introduction. And go ahead, take over. And do you want to continue? Which screen do you want to share?
Yeah, I was, so do you still want me to proceed with the reading? Like
yeah, please, if you can. Do you know, do you want to have access to Quranics.org or do you have on your computer Quran Reformist translation, which you help to improve its language, the most recent one?
I think the Quranics one is okay. We can use your translation.
Okay. Do you want me to go for you on it? Put it.
Yeah, so I guess I could access it here, or you could put it on the screen there, right?
Okay, let me see. Quranics is not, right now, we don't have the most recent one. I need to contact the person who manages this site. And let me see. Okay, right now I am putting there. Okay. And I will check people writing on the, right now on the YouTube. Okay, my friend.
Right, so.
This is Alif Lam Mim. We talk about it. And here is footnote. Anyone wants to go over it could stop the screen and read some of it. Okay. Do you want to say anything on the first verse?
No, I just want to ask, Can I scroll down myself, or do I have to wait for you to do it?
Oh, you can. Can you do it?
Well, I'm
How can I
trying,
make
but
you do it?
I think I'm not getting any response from my mouse.
Yeah, because I went on it. How can I do it?
Or should I read,
Anyone knows?
Edip?
Huh?
Yeah, why
Should
don't you
I
let
read?
him read it? I think he's got it there in front of him.
Yeah, why not?
I
What
think
did
he's
you
got a
say?
better voice. You notice that baritone voice? I don't think I have that.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Like a Pavarotti, you know.
Yeah, okay, I start reading now.
Do you want to share? Here is share screen. You may share the screen. Do you want to go on your own screen?
Share screen.
Chronix, or can you do that if you want me to go on the screen for you?
Is
Okay.
it now working? Yeah.
Okay, I give you permission. Eliminate in English all other too many different things. Click on English, unselect, deselect them. No, the menu on top menu English.
Yeah, wait, I have to. Oh man. How can
Yeah.
I take this away?
Where are you now?
Chronix, English, okay.
Go on top, yes, deselect.
Yeah, let's do this.
Transcription also, deselect transcription, please.
Deselect.
And then in setting, go to the setting, and then auto transcript. Okay, eliminate. Only, okay, that's it. Now better.
Okay. Alif Lam Mim. This is the book in which there is no doubt a guide for the conscientious. Conscientious.
Or for the righteous. It has been translated as righteous, conscientious. Yeah. I think the closest one is conscientious. Salihin, salih means the one who is righteous. Yes.
Those who acknowledge the unseen and observe the contact prayer, salah, and from our provisions to them they spent.
Your cursor, when it goes on the letters and stuff, where it create those kind of unfortunately, as nuisance.
Those who acknowledged what was sent down to you and what was sent down before you, and regarding the hereafter, they are certain. These are the ones guided by their Lord, and these are the winners. As for those who do not appreciate whether you warn them or do not warn them, they will not acknowledge. God has sealed their hearts and their ears, and over their eyes are covers. They will incur a great retribution. Among the people are those who say, "We acknowledge God and the last day," but they do not acknowledge. They seek to deceive God and those who acknowledge, but they only deceive themselves without noticing. In their hearts is a disease, so God increases their disease, and they will have a painful retribution for what they have denied. Yeah. Those are the first 10 verses.
Yeah. People, anyone has any question or criticism?
I have a question on the translation of the word salah as contact prayer, because whilst there is evidence to suggest that salah is something to do with connection of closeness with something, the word prayer seems like an addition here. So I'm not sure how you came to the conclusion that actually it relates to prayer.
Well, it's hard to translate actually. It means like following closely. Actually, if you look up Lane's lexicon, an old Arabic English dictionary, a musalin is a horse which is closely in a horse race closely to the first horse, so it follows them closely somehow. But yeah, I mean, there's also the verse that God and his angels are saliyun to the prophet, so they have kind of connection, bond. And I think in this instance, salah means also bondage, a contact. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just one word, but yeah, that's the thing, what I think.
Yeah, may I also make a comment?
Go ahead.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, about the word in their hearts is a disease. You know, we had a few clubhouse rooms here, and in one of them, Brother Edip, we were reading your translation, and there was a fellow called Shaukat Vahidi together with his son. Shaukat wanted to do his own translation of the Quran, but he wasn't managing to do it at the time. So instead, what he settled on was to, let's say, take someone's translation that was yours and to comment on the translation. And I was in for a surprise of my life when he came to the word kalb in the Quran, and he said that the word kalb in the original Quranic Arabic does not mean heart. I think the word for heart is fuad. He said that the word kalb in the original Quranic Arabic means brain. That was his suggestion. So now this view has been also endorsed by Dr. Omar Ramahi of, he's living in Canada. He's a professor at Waterloo University. In his book called, Muslims' Greatest Challenge, choosing between Islam and tradition 2019, he also claims that the word kalb in the original Quranic Arabic means brain. And we had one more confirmation. I have two more confirmations. One from another fellow from Clubhouse, an original Arabic speaker. I think it was, perhaps the name doesn't matter, but a fourth confirmation I got was from a translation of the Quran by Muhammad Shafi, who is the only translator out of 57 English translations, which are listed on islamawakened.com, who does not translate the word kalb as heart, but he uses the word mind. So I was just wondering, Brother Edip or anyone else, what are your thoughts on it? Has the meaning of the word kalb changed since the time the Quran was revealed? And are we translating it correctly when we render the word kalb as heart rather than as brain or mind? Thank you.
I mean, I don't want to comment on the Arabic use of the word too much, but I think it's fairly clear whatever the seat of motivation in the human soul is referred to as kalb, is where the good and evil of a person lies. And I think it's not really, I don't think it's that important to know physically where that resides, because otherwise we're chasing a little bit of a difficult thing. Wherever it resides, it means, the seat where the motivation is for pursuing good sincerely or not. So I think it matters little where that everybody knows that the heart that we refer to as pump is not the seat of thinking. And people generally refer to mind, but even mind, nobody knows where the mind is. Where is the mind? So I think, it's not a problem to just understand that deep inside human soul, there is a seat where a human being determines to pursue sincerity or otherwise. And that's where the problem lies, as far as the Quran is pointing out. Other people are free to comment on it, but I would like to go back and ask Brother Edip how he added the words prayer to the contact prayer.
Yeah, if you get out of Corpus Quran, too much distraction. MashaAllah. Well, the word qalb means really innermost intentions, the center of intention and understanding. It is used for that one. And the Quran, when it says in their hearts there is disease, it doesn't mean the organ heart, they have like cholesterol in their heart, correct? They're kind of, the arteries are clogged. And no, it is not about that. It's not heart cry attack. It is about disease in their intention. And when in English right now we say, you broke my heart, it doesn't mean, oh, my heart is here and it is made of glass, you broke my heart. And part of the language, it becomes part of the language. In Arabic language, it is about intention of the people, the core of people's decision making. Whatever the root is, maybe initially start from here, but with time the words evolve. The language is not all literal. The language has, in our languages, in English, you broke my heart. Does it mean, or his heart is evil or something? There are many words, idioms we use with the connection with the word heart. And the same with the Arabic language. Someone is making noise again.
Enver, I
Yes.
think.
Thank you. And Quran, God uses people's languages and their idiom also. Languages are not just straight words. Sometimes there are idioms in those languages, uses those idioms, people understand. For example, when the Quran says God's hand is above their hand, in Arabic language, hand means this, and also hand means power. There is another word for power, it means hand. And from the context, smart people will understand, oh, here is a metaphor, here is real. And in the context, you can tell. Therefore, the Quran, when it talks about heart in connection with message of the Quran, it is the intention of the people, core intention, which attitude of people towards message, because that attitude create walls between them and the message of the Quran. The moment you say, I cannot understand the Quran without this bunch of fabricated hadiths, at that moment you blocked yourself from understanding. Your qalb is not salim. Your qalb means your intention to seek the truth is not healthy. There is some problem in it. Okay? And that is my understanding. It could be in the past, some people use the word qalb for brain. No problem. I have no problem with that. But even assuming qalb means heart in literal meaning, but the using the language of the Quran in the people, they didn't mean the organ here when they say he has heart problem. He has problem in his heart. They meant in his mind, in his reasoning, in his intention. Okay? That's it. And then as far as for Salah, with time, my understanding of the word, the meaning of Iqama Salat has changed. And in the past, I understood every word Salat meaning praying to God. But with time, I understood the meaning is general, means solidarity, means be in connection, means to turn face towards something, have interest to something. And the description, the definition of Salat is made in the Quran. I believe in chapter Waqia 76, if I'm not wrong, either 75 or 76, says, وَمَا صَدَّقَ وَمَا صَلَّى وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى وَمَا صَدَّقَ وَمَا صَلَّى. He did not approve it. He did not confirm it. And he did not do salah. Interesting. I want to keep it untranslated. وَمَا صَدَّقَ, ma means no, did not. وَمَا صَدَّقَ, he did not confirm. He did not accept. وَمَا صَلَّى, he did not do the salah. وَلَكِنْ, but, كَذَّبَ, he denied. Denying is the opposite of صدقة, opposite of accepting, affirming. وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبَ, he denied, but he denied. وَتَوَلَّى, and turned away. Okay, that means turn away is the antonym of salah, because كَذَّبَ means denied, is the antonym of صدقة in Arabic and in English too. Therefore, the second word after but, it is tawalla, means turned face. Therefore, it must be the opposite of salah. Through these two verses, short verses, 4 words, God defines the meaning of salat. Salat means not turning back, turning face, show interest, empathy, and connection, and communication. Therefore, and then there are some other verses of the Quran about Salli ala, that is also clear. God and his angels do Salli ala to Muhammad. They are doing something, not saying something. Salli ala is not something to say, is an action. God and his angels support, they are in solidarity, they are supporting the messenger. They are not turning their back to the messenger in metaphor. And then the same Salli ala is used for believers. God and his angels, they support believers. Says, Yusalli alaykum liyukhrijakum min az-zulumat ila an-nur. God as an angel do salat on us too, to save us from darkness to light. And then there is an instruction to Prophet Muhammad, tells Muhammad, Salli alayhim, you Muhammad, do salat on them, not say Salli ala, not something say. It doesn't say Qulu or Qul. It says Salli alayhim, support them, encourage them. Inna salataka sakanun lahum. Your support, your encouragement, it comforts them. Therefore, the meaning of salat is clear, to be in connection, to be in solidarity. And from the very Quran, this is about salat. You see Muhammad doing salat to believers. Therefore, salat could be between believers, people in community, and also between a person and God. And it has certain references. Therefore, I see in the context of mu'min, a person who trusts God, it is both. You both communicate with God, you are in solidarity with God, you do salat with God, and also you do salat with people in the community, with people around you. Therefore, it is called Salat al-Jumu'ah, the community solidarity. Mm-hmm. You go community solidarity, but a believer, because a believer, a mu'min, the word believer, I have problem with it. I say affirmer. An affirmer has two solidarity, one with God and with people. But a Muslim means a peacemaker, if not a monotheist, if not an affirmer or mu'min, that person will not have solidarity with God, maybe an atheist Muslim, an atheist peacemaker, but he will participate in the Salat al-Jumu'ah, in the community solidarity. And community salat is more general than zakat, than charity. It is psychological, social, political, economic, in every way being in solidarity with people, whatever is needed. It is more general than zakat, than monetary financial help. Because you can give someone financial help, you may not be emotionally listening to the person and doing some other stuff that is necessary to comfort that person, maybe political support that person needs, maybe psychological support. Therefore, salat involves all aspects of solidarity. And unfortunately, this is confused, but through the Quran, we can easily see salat is being the duty of all peacemakers. In the chapter 9, it says, if those who violated the contract, the peace contract, fight them, because already they attacked you, they killed you, and you made a peace contract with them, and they violated their own, they broke their own words, they attacked you again, and this time go fight them. If they decide to stop and then do two things, be in solidarity, do their citizenship requirement, decide to become a good citizen, do salat. It doesn't mean pray to God. It means do salat with people and then give charity, is emphasis on part of the salat, economical help. If they do it, then they are your brothers. Otherwise, if they don't do, they want to go away, to go to their people, let them listen to the message of the Quran in the beginning of chapter 9, and then after them, let them help them in security, go back to their people, give up war against you. That's it. Anyway, that verse and many other verses shows that it's not only theological, it is also social and political aspect of the salat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if I could just add a note on that.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, there's a book written by a fellow called Shukriya Hussein Ramic. I think he's Bosnian originally. It was published by the Islamic Text Society. I think that's Cambridge University. And the name of the book is Language and the Interpretation of Islamic Law. And in it, he makes one very interesting point. He says that the meaning of at least half a dozen very key central words, Quranic words, has changed profoundly from the time of when the Quran was revealed until now. So I'm just wondering whether salat could not also be one of those words.
It is. I agree with you. I agree. I think the word salat is distorted. It is reduced to rituals. Even the prayer salat, which you take ablution, prepare it, there is certain ritual, but ablution is also has a pragmatic meaning of it. Washing, cleaning yourself, and also psychologically is also helpful for people. There are even articles about washing with water psychologically help you to cleanse yourself. And prayer and the prayer that with God. And that one is also too many rituals they have fabricated. The prayer says, stand up for prayer, for example. If you understand physical standing, no problem. But they ask question, they say, where put my hands while I am standing?
Or the feet.
How many?
They put their feet.
How my feet will be, how much away from each other? These are stupid questions they ask. If you ask someone, let's say in the store, go stand up there and go in line and stand in the line. And if someone tells you in the grocery store, do you ask them, hey, ma'am, where should I put my hand while I am standing here? You don't ask that question. That silly, stupid question Rabbi asked when God asked them to sacrifice a heifer, Pharaoh's religion's one of major symbols of Pharaoh's religion, the oppressors, the slave owners' religion. And even they were saved from slavery. Some of them had mental bondage to Pharaoh's culture and religion. They couldn't take their respect, their kind of whatever they had towards calf. It's called calf or heifer. Therefore, God wanted them to sacrifice a heifer so that physically they do these, mentally, psychologically, they cut all kind of relation. It is kind of like rehabilitation. If someone has some phobia, you slowly, gradually bring that animal that person has phobia and then touch, and through that they are no more scared. In this case, it is the opposite. They have attraction. They have so much love towards this respect to Heifer, and God wants them to do just the opposite in phobia, just sacrifice it, destroy it so that you will not have any more respect. It's not about shedding the blood of animal or torturing an animal. It has nothing to do. It is symbolically, but psychologically saving them from the bondage. And what happens? This important thing is lost by trivial questions of rabbis. Rabbi says, what is the color of the heifer? Idiot, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is not the issue. Or whether the heifer is young or old, correct? In the barn or in the farm. They ask this kind of trivial question. And the Quran criticized that, says almost they didn't follow God's commandment by asking this kind of frivolous question. Quran wants us to ask question, do not follow anything blindly. But these sorts of questions are discouraged in the Quran. Chapter 5, verse 101, it says, do not ask too many questions, this kind of frivolous question. It will be revealed to you while the Quran revealed, but otherwise, if you keep asking, it will become more difficult for you. Correct? And they made it difficult. If you look at the ablution in the Quran, one verse in the Quran, short verse, simple, but they ask details of the details. Whether should I clean my ears? In which direction I will put my fingers, kind of move my finger, whether my neck, or how many times should I wash? What is the definition of face? Is this face? Is this face? Or where it starts? All these kind of rabbi, the question that asked by rabbi, which is discouraged in the Quran, in the story of Heifer, they ask these many questions. Or in the prayer, where should I put my hand? On that question alone, where should I put my hand? They made up 98 hadiths. I counted them one by one. These are the Sahih hadiths. I'm not talking about in other volumes of other books, only in Kutub al-Sittah, the 6 books. 98 hadiths. You cannot find 98 hadiths about reasoning, about science, about justice. No. About freedom, not a single. But about these, where to put hands, 98 hadiths, and then all sorts of description. Hand is here, here, and then on the side, on top of the belly, below the belly, all combinations they cover. Well, you don't need hadith then. Just write possible combination where or places where you can put your hand, and then write on a piece of paper, different pieces of paper, put in a bag, close your eyes, pick one of them. Well, some of the hadiths will come through. You will hate some of the hadiths. Therefore, but the question when they ask us how the Quran doesn't tell us how to pray, the details of the prayer, and then how without the Quran, without hadith, how can I pray? What I tell them, I say, well, your problem is not only prayer. Without hadith, you cannot go to the restroom, you cannot clean your buttock, you cannot even eat food, because there are details about those things in hadith books. And let's continue about the rest of the thing. We did it a little bit too much. Where is my thing is getting lost.
Edip, I just want to make a small comment.
Right.
Back to the Salah. I like your, the choice of word of solidarity, whether it's with God, whether it's between people. It's about solidarity and closeness. But there is one other verse that, I wanted to point out, where Salah is mentioned in connection with Prophet Shuaib. As you will know that the community of Shuaib were people who were cheating economically. And, so when he told them to stop doing this, they said, oh, Shuaib, does your Salah tells us how to spend our money? You remember?
Yes, you are right.
Or the
which
decree,
is,
yeah. Mhm.
which is suggesting that Salah refers to the whole, constitution, if you like, of God's system, including God's commandments about fair use of economically in those business dealings. So that means solidarity with all of God's commandments and law, which are guiding human beings to a fairer way of operating, whether economically or otherwise. So it's solidarity, to God's commandments, which sounds more like a constitution, adhering. So Aqimus Salah makes sense when it means, and establish or stick to the uphold the constitution. Uphold the constitution. This is what the Quran is repeating. So that stick and adhere to God's law and his commandments about your affairs. So it's a very practical meaning of upholding and adhering to God's system.
Yeah. Let's continue. Is there any other things here, Linda, or any other you want to talk?
I'm okay for the time being. I'm just quite happy listening for the moment. Thank you, Edip.
My thing is messed up. Finally, the the screen. Okay, let's. Okay.
All right.
Again, you started with so many things, Rilum.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me help you out.
Mm.
Okay, let me help you out. Where we are right now here, chapter.
Edip, how much longer are we going on for?
We are going to finish it in 10 minutes.
Okay.
It is not in my, right now, I don't feel very, very comfortable with this one because my mind, half of my mind is busy with the technical situation that I should not be dealing with it. And I'm not the best in technical situation because I want to focus on this one. And this is not the best format I am doing. I don't feel that we are going properly, not posting properly on the screen. And therefore, it's a little bit, but we may get used to it. We may learn better, correct? I'm not giving up totally on myself.
Edip, may I suggest that we curtail this session earlier in view of that, and then perhaps continue.
You do it, you organize. I just put together spontaneously, but if someone wants to take over, do a better presentation, and absolutely, and Leslie if you want, but Leslie right now too late in his life over there, correct? You are in Malaysia, and you are so kind. You want to join us all the way from there. Okay. I want to a little bit talk about Al-Ghaib. Al-Ghaib, let me close this one too much. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. They believe in unseen. It is kind of translated, they believe in unseen without knowing. This is a very abused, distorted statement here in the Quran. Those who acknowledge or affirm the unseen, but if you ask them why they believe in the Quran or this anything, they say, well, I just believe, here it is. It says, I don't see it, I don't know it, but I do believe it. It's basically, this one is used as a justification for ignorance, for believing anything peddled by clergymen in the name of God. But it is not. If you affirm the unseen, it is not just you affirm it just because what? You must have reasons, evidences to believe, to affirm an unseen. We affirm many things without even seeing it because we have evidences for their existence, not direct evidence, but indirect evidence for something. Based on that, we say there must be something like that. And let's say we see the motion of one of the planets is not following exactly the trajectory, the orbit that it was supposed to, based on the mass of the planet, based on the distance from the sun, around the sun, and we calculated those things, and we find out there is some swerving from that orbit. It is not exactly mathematically following the laws of nature. And then we say, well, there must be another body which we don't see. That body mass, which we cannot see through our telescope, but we can see this big body moving towards this direction instead of this direction, but it's a little bit going the other direction. There must be a mass behind that, and the size of that mass should be this much, so that be causing this kind of deviation from the orbit. And then here we discovered Pluto. Before we saw the Pluto was ghaib. We affirmed Pluto in scientific terminology based on what? But Pluto's effect on another planet, nearby planet, correct? Was it Neptune? Pluto, Neptune, yes. And therefore, and similar inferences we make all the time in sciences. In sciences, we all the time, we affirm the unseen that we cannot see or we cannot detect, but logically, scientifically, we say because of these reasons, there must be something we don't see yet. For example, another one, the Higgs bosons. Is it called boson? How do you say it? Boson? Bosons?
Higgs boson.
Yeah, boson, Higgs boson. It was unseen, but before even it became visible, became, proven in accelerators. Before that, we believed that. We affirmed there must be something with this power. We even calculated, I say scientists, calculated even the power, the effect of it, the nature of it. It was the 19th particle, basically. They call it God particle later because of so much brouhaha about it, because that would explain how all these four powers, how all these three powers come together with gravity. There are four powers: gravity, nuclear force, the central force, electromagnetic force, and the magnetic force, basically the electronic force, weak force. And these four forces, through intuition, scientists thought they should be able to be explained in one single formula. They are unification, the theory of unification, unifying these things. Scientists were able to explain three of them in terms of one formula to explain the three powers, but they were not able to bring in gravity. Gravity would always be troublemaker, black sheep. And they got, even the scientists who unified these three forces, they got Nobel Prize, Nobel Physics, in physics, Nobel Prize. But the fourth one, in order to explain the fourth one, the gravity between the things, they predicted ghaib, the Higgs boson. Anyway, this is this way. Therefore, it doesn't mean we believe something, we have no evidence. It's just the opposite. The Quran says, do not follow something blindly without evidences. In fact, a person should be born, should live and die on burhan, on evidence. There are multiple verses used for evidences. Ayat means signs. Bayina means proof and or obvious facts. And shahid, shahada means testimony, witness. There are multiple words are used, and the burhan also. Anyway, Huda is one of the words is used also for the Quran. Huda means guidance. It is a numerical value is 19. It is a very kind of important word. Means guidance. It's also a name for God. No, it's not used for God. No, but it is a verb is attributed to God. Correct? God is the one who guides. Should we finish it now, or you want to? Anyone has something else to say? Let's see what people are writing there. Let me go a few minutes because I entirely ignored those people who write in the okay, let me see. Okay. And let's see what is there. Okay, people, do you have any questions right now? You can write. I know you wrote a lot of things here, people on the chat. Yes. Okay. There are many things written here, but I don't have time right now to do. Okay, people, nice having you. Closing, you do, please. Anyone here want to? Linda, oh, you are not able to open your things, correct? Oh my gosh. Can you unmute yourself? Or you can unmute yourself, correct?
Yes, I can unmute myself. Okay. I can't see anything on the chat, though. I can only see Tanvir has put a message on, but nothing else.
Not here. Chat on the here.
The meeting chat. I can't see anything written there from anyone else.
It is here. It is on YouTube. Look, this is
okay.
Where people live chat there. There is YouTube live there. Okay.
Yeah.
You see on the right side.
I can now.
Yeah. And also, meanwhile, you had multiple personality a moment ago.
Did I?
You had another of you. I put it in lobby. One of you stays in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
You had a phone next to you. You were in profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Therefore, you had two of you there. Therefore, I put the phone away in the. Okay. Thank you very much, people. Carl, you didn't talk at all. Leslie, you are upset with me, I bet. This early time, this late time, you are awake. And we didn't have really a decent presentation.
Well, I was informed that the whole event would happen at 1900 GMT because there was a message to that effect from you. So I thought Edip decided to go back to the original timing, which is 3 a.m. for me. But then I got a message later, again, a second one, informing me that no, after all, the event is going to be held at 2100 hours GMT. So I was a bit confused.
Wow.
Yeah.
What we did, I share with you, was it 2 different times?
Yeah, yeah.
21.
No.
Oh, you didn't get that message. No, I also was told that it's at 1900. Because I think Brother Edip communicates through at least 2 channels. One is his own WhatsApp group, and then there's the OIB group, the second
Yeah,
group.
maybe once I had different time, maybe I confused the times. Yeah, so many things going on. I just, sometimes I mess it up. I'm in deep trouble.
Yeah,
multitasking,
Brother Edip, multitasking.
But Edip, don't be so disappointed of yourself. It was a very good. It was a good meeting session, and we learned a lot of you about
God
you.
bless you. Let me close it now. Assalamu alaikum. Hopefully next time we'll do better. Inshallah.
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 Inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.